morning, everyone. My name is Karla, and you have reached my FlossTube channel, KarlaBeingCrafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but also crochet now, and other crafts that I enjoy, and a little bit of life thrown in. Today is FlossTube number 193. It's Sunday, June 4th. And I want to say welcome. If this is your first time finding my channel, I hope that you like what you see, want to hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And if you are a regular subscriber coming back each week, thank you so much for coming back and spending this time with me. It means a really lot to me, especially when I'm like struggling emotionally or, you know, with anxiety and stuff like that. Having this is kind of like a base to go back to for comfort is really nice, and knowing that there's people out there who care a little bit is really good. So yeah, so I want to say thank you so much. Little housekeeping. I did schedule our next Zoom Stitchy meetup for the end of this month for Sunday, June 25th at 2 p.m. I know I said I was going to move the Zooms around, and hopefully I will be able to do that a little bit more going forward, but you know, Sunday afternoon is a really good time for me. You know, it's my Zoom, and so that's kind of a comfort place, you know, that I don't have to worry too much about other stuff that I have to do. I know I'm usually home and don't have plans, etc., etc. So Sunday, June 25th at 2 p.m. is going to be 2 p.m. Pacific time is going to be the next Zoom, and all of the information on how to log in, the meeting ID and passcode are down below in the description box. I gotta be honest, I'm feeling kind of stressed and scattered this week. I'm having a lot of anxiety about financial issues and, you know, life in general. And it, you know, when things get a little bit tense for me, when my anxiety is perhaps stronger than it is at other times, I get to the feeling like, you know, like I'm constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it's hard because I just don't feel like I handle normal adulting life stuff well, you know, and then that affects everything. You don't sleep well and you don't feel well. And, you know, I mean, a lot of you out there know anxiety has, I think, become an issue for a lot of people in recent years. And it definitely has become more of an issue for me. But I'm working through it, you know, I'm okay. Feeling stressed about money, which does bring me to the point that if you want to help me out, and help out the channel, I do have a super thanks button. No guilt, no pressure, but it is there, and it is really nice, when people choose to use that. So yeah, I've just been running through a lot of things in my head of like, gee, is there stuff I could sell? I've actually considered, I have I wouldn't say a large collection, but a big 3 rings of gentle art threads, gassed threads, and they're mostly like, you know, new old stock, right? They're not used mostly. I'm thinking about selling them, and so let me know if there's anybody who might be interested in buying those. I have to count, see how many I have, and get a price that might be reasonable. But I'm just not really using over-dyed threads that much anymore because of the types of projects that I'm choosing. So I'm thinking that might be something that I could you know, get a little bit of money. So if there's anybody that would be interested, if you use gassed a lot and would be interested in getting those threads, let me know. Okay. On a happier note, last Sunday I went out to lunch with Julie from Stitching at the Cabin. It was fantastic to get to spend some time with her. As I've said, I'm having car issues, which is part of what is contributing to my anxiety right now, if I'm honest. It's still not fixed. My mechanic has to order some parts, so he told me to take it home and then bring it back next week. He's gonna tell me when, but it's gonna be super expensive. That's what's stressing me out, I think. But anyway, so she had to come down here and she picked me up, which was really nice of her, and we went out to lunch and spent 3 hours, you know, just chit-chatting, and we didn't stitch. We always have the intention of stitching, but then we get into like talking and having lunch and didn't stitch. But it was so nice to get to meet her in person. And I did give her the 4 little crocheted birds. She loved them. Made me feel really good that she was so happy, and she brought them home, and like seriously within an hour or an hour and a half she was sending me pictures of what her husband did to mount them. So I definitely, like, if you liked those little birds when you saw me show them, go onto her channel, the last video that they did last week, and she shows pictures. So she got a perch, a stick, that is a really interesting shape, and it had different like little kind of branches coming off of it, so it was perfect. And he mounted the birds. I think he just hot glued them. He mounted the birds on, and then he actually mounted it to sort of a big opening. I think when you come into their house, it's like the big opening into their living area. I don't know, but anyway, it's kind of like sticking out at the top, kind of like where I have Eva, you know, if I had something coming out of the sidewall. So it's sticking out, and you can see it, she said, from when you come in the door, you can see like the back of them. When you're in that living room area, you can see the front of them, and it just looks so cute the way that they mounted it. So I'm really happy with, I'm really happy with how they turned out. I'm really happy with how happy she was to see them, and you know, her whole family really likes them, and how they finished it. It looks great. So go over to her channel so you can see how they did it, because I think it looks really good. Okay. I feel like I have to rush a tiny bit. I went to go, well, I did my dishes yesterday, and before I could load my dishwasher, you know, you need to make sure that the garbage disposal is running correctly, and it wasn't running. And I think it just needs the Allen wrench to just reset it, and I can't find an Allen wrench. I know I have one that fits into the garbage disposal, but I can't find it. So I called my maintenance, but it was like 4:15, 4:30 when I called yesterday, so I just left a message. So I'm assuming that maintenance is going to come today. I don't think they would come before 9 o'clock, but then I have no idea when they would come, and it's 8:30. So if I end up having to stop the video because somebody's at my door and then restart it, that is why. So see, that's another thing that I just feel like waiting for something else to go wrong, and I don't know. And when I'm in this kind of mood, I just don't handle it well. It's not just like, oh well, I gotta call maintenance. It's like a big drama in my head. You guys know, right? I mean, I can't be the only person that goes through stuff like this. But anyway, so yeah, and I feel like I can't really do any, like, a lot of the things that I had planned to do until that gets done, because it's like I can't run my dishwasher, and if I can't run the dishwasher, I don't feel like I can't cook. And I promised my friend at work I was gonna make banana muffins to bring some in to her because she loves them, and I wanted to make them anyway. So I need to get that done so that I could do that little bit of baking today. She even went and got more bananas and butter for me so that I had enough ingredients. So I have to make them, and I don't feel I can do that while my kitchen is not in perfect shape. But anyway. Okay. Let us get started on the goodies. I did work on stuff all week. You know, it's very weird lately. It's like I feel like I didn't do very much, and then I put everything together for these videos, and it's like, I guess I kind of did a lot. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I accomplished so much, and lately I've been feeling like I haven't been, but I have done a lot of cross stitch and crochet, so I don't know. I think adding crochet in the mix throws my brain off a little bit. One thing I wanted to show you, and actually I have this later in my notes sheet, but I think I'll put it in here because I'm not sure whether I should say this is a crochet thing or a cross stitch thing. So it's actually like an FFO of a cross stitch that I finished. Gosh, it's been sitting here for over a year and a half done. And I had an idea for finishing using crochet now. So basically I did this Black Grace and it's a needlepoint, but it's kind of a weird like cross stitch needlepoint done with yarn. It's a kit. There is a companion piece which I have. This is Black Grace 1, and then there's another one that's Black Grace 2, which is basically the same thing. It's a silhouette of a cat with stripes, but the colors of the stripes are slightly different. Of course, finishing this makes me want to do the other one, so I might be starting that. But anyway, so I finished this, like I said, a couple years ago, and I think I finished it like January-ish of 2021. Yeah, or the very end of 2020, because I remember I took this to the cabin when we went for like New Year's holiday, and my mom was still with us, so I think it was like the end of 2020 when I finished this. And it's been sitting here because I didn't want to pull out my sewing machine. I'm just so anti using my sewing machine to make a pillow, and I had a pillow form for it already, and I got actually kind of like a black velvet stuff, and I just haven't wanted to sew. So I was thinking about it, and ever since I started crocheting, which hasn't been that long, as you guys know, I was thinking like I could use crochet as a way to do backings for pillows, and I had that idea brewing in my head. And then I was sitting here, and I saw the Thick and Quick yarn that I used to make my slippers, and I had like a ball and a third of it of that color, and I was looking at it, I'm like, those colors match really well with this project. So I'm like, you know what, let me just try it. So that's what I did last Sunday. I went and I crocheted the back, and I basically just made two, you know, rectangles. I used double crochet for it to go quicker, basically, and I kind of ran out of yarn, so I actually had to use another color, same type of yarn but another color kind of in here, because it was a dark blue and I don't think it mattered. And then I just sewed it together like in an envelope backing, and I did add a button because it doesn't want to totally stay closed. I'm not 100% happy with how it looks around the edges. Sewing it together actually was a lot more difficult than I thought it was gonna be. So it is a little bit like wonky and messy on the edges, but you know, if I really hate it, I can add like some kind of pom-pom trim, or I could even make like a crocheted lace or something that I could put around it. But it's done, and you know, it's not an expert. I think maybe I should have done like one more row on one of the sides, but as I said, I was running out of yarn, so you know, it could have had one more, you know, double crochet row so it wouldn't pull as much. I didn't realize it would once I got the pillow in. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's comfortable and I really like this, so yeah, I mean, I thought that was kind of a cool way to marry the two things that I'm enjoying right now and get a finish. So I did that. That is a thing I did. So I don't know what to call this. Is this like a crochet saf or a cross stitch FFO? I don't know, but you know what? It's done. And I don't think this will be the last time that I use crochet to do the backing of a pillow. I mean, obviously, when I do the Black Grace 2, I'm going to have to find a yarn. Hopefully, I can find one in this line that kind of goes with the colors and do the same thing. But yeah, let me know what you think. I mean, again, it's not expertly done, so, you know, don't criticize me too much, but I still think it's kind of cool. Okay, so that was that. All right, now into full-on cross stitch. I did have a new start this week. I will, at the end of the video, when I talk about plans and stuff, I'll show you the projects I've picked for June. My theme, which is very loose this month, for June is Fabulous Fireworks. Really, the projects I don't really have any projects that are fireworks per se, but I just pick things that kind of have like starbursty kind of things on them, and it just made me feel like somehow it fits the theme. I don't know. It's all loose and open to interpretation. But anyway, so I was thinking that I had this project that I was going to start actually in May and didn't, because I felt like I was feeling overwhelmed for whatever reason. When I was sitting there this week, I was like, you know what? I do kind of want to start it. And what I am talking about is my little Theresa Wentzler kit that I got, which is Peacock Majesty. As per usual, I took the fabric that came with it out and, you know, stick it over here in my diet for something else later pile. And instead I picked a, where's the second half of it? Oops. Hey, mermaid. Stay there. Oh. This is a hand dyed by Rolanda fabric. It's an 18 count Aida, and it's this really pretty mottled bluey, purpley, pinky. And I only needed half of the piece. So this is my not huge start, but this is the same count. It came with 18 count Aida in the kit, and this is an 18 count Aida. So it's just that we've got more color in the background. So I thought it would be fun to try out a Theresa Wentzler. I can already see how intense the blends and stuff are, and I'm gonna have to, like, I can't do things my normal way with this project because it's just oh wait, that's not what I want to show you. Because of the blends, it's impossible, and because of the size of the project. So it's a small project, so the kit didn't come with a ton of thread, right? But there's so many, so there's 33 actual colors, but then when you look at the number of blends, it's like something like 90, right? It's just all of these blends and half cross blends and, you know, all this stuff. So I can't do it my normal way. My normal way is I put stuff on a drop, and then I mark them with the symbol so that I can just look at the symbol and find the symbol. I can't do that with this because there's just not enough thread to create all the blends with their own drop. It just wouldn't make any sense to do that. So what I did is I just used this drop and use the numbers, and I actually had to add, because it only goes up to 28 and there's 33 colors. So because it's got these cutouts, I just added, like, you know, 31 there, and, you know, like that. And then what I did is, this is the, like, color list that it had it, because there was 2 bundles. So, you know, it had it split out which ones are in which bundle. So the colors are listed there, and I just gave them each a number. So then when I go and find my symbol on the chart, and then I look and it has the colors that are part of that blend, then I have to get the, you know, I have to have the number, the name. So in other words, here's a blend that is rust and purple. So then I have to go to my list here and find the rust and purple and get the corresponding numbers to know my blend. You know, it's working okay so far. I don't know. You know, I'm glad I'm doing a small one because it's not going to be so onerous when it's this small that I'm going to hate it. But I don't know that I would want to do anything bigger than this or more elaborate, because so far I'm not loving having to do all the blends. I mean, I know it does give it a very definite look. I don't know, for me, if getting that look is worth the hassle of all the blends. So I don't know. I mean, that's part of why I'm doing it, is to see. It's having a new experience, a new designer. So, but I mean, it is going to be really pretty when it's done. And I'm glad that it's small. I am. Because it's still going to take me forever to do. Why that fits into the fireworks, I mean, peacock tail kind of makes me think of fireworks. So that's how it fit in for me. Okay, then the other whips that I worked on this week, I did work on Kitty Litter, which is a Dimensions Gold kit. And where's my cover? So I think this is going to go back in the, timeout pile for a while. But I worked more on this kitty, and I did a bunch of the back stitching and some more background. I just did a bunch of stuff. I'm definitely doing the back stitch as you go with this, because I just like how it brings stuff to life as you go. Because you can definitely like see that ear, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's back stitched. And so, I really like this project. I think as I start to do, not so much for the rest of this year maybe, but like planning for next year, if I'm thinking about doing new starts, I have to think about doing smaller new starts, because I'm getting to the point where like I am getting finishes, but they're all the littler things, and I'm going to be left with all of these big long-term projects, and it's gonna be harder to get finishes. Okay, but this is almost finished. This is the cardinal that I'm making for my friend Tracy, and I am pretty close to a finish on this one. I don't really need to show you the picture because it's almost done, but I'm working on that cardinal. So I did all of these leaves and that flower. There's one more flower, and then the little branches that connect all this stuff together. The flower is really hard to see until it gets back stitched. But yeah, this is really close. So I don't know if I'm going to work on this month. I mean, there's no rush on these. So, I don't know. I don't know if I will work on this month. Okay. I did do a little bit on my prickly owl. Which is a little regular dimensions kit. I started this one with Julie, stitching at the cabin. And then this was given to me by my friend Dawn Frisch from Arizona, kind of as a, memento of Arizona. And I'm stitching this on the, not the kit fabric that came with it. I actually pulled, I had blue fabric from another kit that I then over dyed with some teal to make some modeling. And that's where I am. And of course I added some back stitching, and I did more in the green and stuff. So it doesn't look like much yet, but I think the colors really pop on this blue, so I'm glad I chose that. Okay, so that's kind of all of the projects that were sort of maze themed projects, well, except for the peacock is June. But then I had two things that I pulled for June's theme. And one of them is the Realist Forget-Me-Nots. That I think I started this in February when I started doing florals. If you guys have been with me for a while, you know that I really do like Realist, the Realist flower kits, especially with the acrylic wool blend thread. Just because it's different, it's just something different. So I worked on this cluster pretty much last night. Got a lot more done on this. And I think that the wool acrylic flosses just really are vibrant and pop off the fabric. And I just like working with a different medium. It's fun to kind of mix it up. It's like, I think that's why I've liked adding in crochet. It's fun to do something else. And then last but not least is my Starburst and Stripes, which kind of is the thing that really sort of fits this Fantastic Fireworks theme. I thought this was further along. For some reason I thought I was like almost done with it, and then I pulled it out and I was like a quarter done with it. So I don't know what my brain was, but this is Chatelaine Design Starburst and Stripes. I am not a big patriotic stitcher. I'm not super happy with just things happening in the country right now, so whatever, you know. I mean, I still like the flag and everything, but I'm just not a big patriotic stitcher. However, I really like this pattern because of the whole starburst thing, and I like it. I like the way it looks. So I actually did almost all of this stripe thing on one evening. But I thought I was like, oh, I'm almost done with this. And no, I had like a quarter of it done. So I don't know where my brain was with that. But it is fun to do these little, they're not cross stitches. They're starbursts. I mean, I don't know what else you would call them. So that is all of my stitching this week. Okay, but I do have crochet projects to show you. So I do have one little crochet finish or start and finish. I did this yesterday. My coworker, not my friend Lita, who's been my coworker for 20 years, whatever. But we have another girl in the office who's kind of an insurance intern with Joe, and so she comes in like once a week. She's really nice, named Linda, and it's her birthday this week. So I just wanted to make a little something, like, and I wanted something that I could do quick. She does like cute, like kawaii type things. So I just made this little strawberry for her. And I put it on kind of like a keychainy thing, and I just think it's cute, and I think she'll like it. So that was just a cute little project. I kind of took a pattern and then I added this extra leaf and some little beaded flowers. But I like it. I think it's cute. So I did that. And then, my baby dragon. I had ambitions to get his back legs done yesterday, and I just didn't. But I did get his ears done and on. And I think he's looking really cute. A little goofy, but really cute. So there is that. So not a lot on him, but I don't know. I think he has a lot of personality so far, even without back legs or wings yet. And then last but not least, as far as the crochet, I was looking through free patterns, and I really like doing different types of things, so that depending on what the mood I'm in, And the one thing about doing all the amigurumi is like, it's basically you're doing single crochet and you're doing small single crochet. I mean, there's shaping and stuff, but you're not using other stitches. So you guys know I'm working on a shrug, this shrug, which I haven't worked on, but I like the idea of a shrug because, especially being like a bigger person, I'm not, I'm wary, let's say, of trying to do clothing because I just don't think it's going to fit, or it's not going to fit right. And I don't have the interest, I guess, to do really shaped things in sleeves and setting sleeves and all that kind of stuff. And then when you talk about like shawls, there's a lot of really pretty shawls, but I'm not going to wear a shawl, you know? I mean, maybe if I went out, which I haven't really gone out any place that I would want a fancy wrap in like years already. So, that just seems like I'd be just making it to make it, not because I would have any use for it. So the idea of a shrug intrigues me because a shrug is like a very, shapeless isn't the right word, but it's a very loosely shaped garment, like a little bolero jacket or a shrug, that, you know, different names. I've heard it called a shrug. I've heard it called a cocoon, bolero, you know. So basically it's an overpiece, a jacket, a sweater type thing, but it's done basically with a big rectangle, and then you just sew it together to make sleeves. So I'm working on the one, which I am enjoying, but I saw a pattern for another one that I thought was kind of intriguing, and I already had the yarn for it. So basically this is just, it's a big giant granny square. I'm not totally into granny squares. I know some people love the whole idea of granny squares. This is just a one big continuous granny square, and then you turn it into a shrug. So I started that. And I do kind of like the laciness of it. It's hard to see because the yarn has switched color right around the edge. But the yarn I'm using is a Lion brand. Big surprise. You guys already know I really like all the Lion brand mandalas and stuff like that. This is called Sunset Nights. The color I'm using is called Isle of Skye. And so basically it's, there's like it's a gradient of 5 colors using 3 colors. So like the innermost color is just the light green, and then there's a light medium green layer, and then there's a medium green only, and then medium and dark, and then dark. The medium green has teeny little sequins. I don't know if you can see right. Oh, there, I made it flash. Okay, so that is attached to the medium green. So when you're on the very light, the lightest color, there's no sequins, and when you're on the very darkest color, there's no sequins. But for the 3 gradients in between, there's the tiny little sequins. So I've just gotten to the second sort of color, and I don't know, can you see? Like there's a sequin. So it's really subtle, you know, it's just going to be a subtle little sparkle because they're tiny sequins, and they're not dense, but they're there, and I think that's going to be really cool. So that I started, and I'm enjoying making the granny square. It's easy. It uses a double crochet stitch, so it goes pretty fast. I mean, it's going to take a while because I need a big square to fit my body, but I like it. I like the idea of it, and I like having a different kind of project to do. So there, that is all of my projects. Yeah. So, I mean, I think I did actually get a lot of stuff done this week. I don't know why I feel like, I think it's because when I'm working on crochet, and there's some nights when that's all I want to do, or, you know, whatever, I get stuck into a crochet thing, and in my brain, it doesn't feel like I accomplished anything because I didn't accomplish stitching. So I have more days where I didn't stitch. But I mean, I'm still doing my crafty stuff, so I have to change my mindset, I think. Okay, I didn't have any haul or anything this week, which is good. But I do have stuff to show you because I got some Stitchy kindness from Julie. She and I trade kind of canvas projects or patterns. She's actually, it was her channel where I first saw Counted Canvas, and kind of made me want to go, ooh, I want to do that. And so really, she was the inspiration behind me even starting to do Counted Canvas. Right now, we're actually working on the same one, which was not planned. It just happened that way. But anyway, so when she finishes a Counted Canvas that I don't have, she gives me the pattern and I give her the patterns when I'm done with mine. And I also gave her, I bought a, I think it's from Nancy's Needles, but it's one of the cabin type things. And I got one and I liked it, but I'm like, I'm never going to stitch this. I like the mandala type Counted Canvas stuff. So I gave that to her and she loves that one. Anyway, she's been at garage sales, I guess, wherever her cabin is, they have a lot of garage sales at this time of year. And she saw these two and, she wasn't really, enamored of them because of the colors, and she was going to pass them by, or actually maybe she got these at, she went to a retreat. I don't know. She either got it at a garage sale or a retreat. I think this was at the retreat, actually, now that I think about it. So she wasn't gonna grab them because she didn't like them for herself, but she was with somebody else, and then they're like, you know, Karla changes colors, which I do. So I don't like the colors either, but I like the patterns. So she got these for me. They're Color Delights by Needle Delights Originals. This one is called Cocoa. Don't like the browns, but I like the pattern. And then this one is called Copper. I don't really like the colors of this either, but I really like the pattern of this one. So yeah. And actually for me, it'd be fun to pull stuff out of my stash to do instead of this color. You know, whatever color I'm feeling at the moment. And then translate it into this pattern. And then the other thing that I got from her, which is really, really, really cool, and actually her husband made this. So I know she has one, and then he made one for me, and it is a floss drop. He made this 3D printed. It's 3D printed floss drop. Little black cat, which we all know I love. So on this side, it's just like plain, but on this side, it's got the face, and then it's got actually numbers. So that is from Julie and her hubby. Okay, and then plans. Sorry, I realize I'm rushing, but I don't want to be caught with the maintenance guy coming in right at the end of the video. So again, my June theme, my loose theme is Fabulous Fireworks. So Starburst and Stripes, which I just showed you, and the Forget-Me-Nots are part of that. I'm also planning to, I did put my Be My Own Valentine SAL project on here because I just want to get it finished. Laura, Stitching at the Shore, was like talking about my SAL, and she's like, and Karla finished hers a long time ago. I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't finish it yet. So this is where I am on it. I have these bees, the top 3 bees to finish, and the border. So, I mean, really, this would take maybe two sessions of stitching, but I'm at that point where it's like, I just want to get it done. I'm not like super excited to work on it. I just want to get it done. Okay. I put my Chatelaine in this month's projects, which is my green lace mandala. Here's the awful picture. And I am, oops, here. on that. Very pretty. Again, I'm kind of at a boring part. But you know what? I need to get over that and just get through that part and get on to the more exciting part. Get it done because I have way more to start. Okay. Oh, let's see. I decided that this would be a good month to work on my Twisted Rainbow Band sampler. If you can. This is by Northern Expressions. And I'm doing this with sulky threads, and I'm adding way more colors than are in it because I am kind of dividing it twice because of just that it's long and narrow, to just have more colors. And this is the one that has specialty stitches. Some of the specialty stitches are super easy for me to do, and some of them have been way challenging, basically because of seeing and working on a darker fabric and everything. So we'll see what happens with that one. I thought it would be fun to add the Sweet Pea Fairy. Get back to her. This is Joan Elliott. The flowers just kind of made me think of fireworks, so that's why I thought that this kind of fit the theme. Oops. And this is done on a 32 count, Lugana by handed by Rolanda, surprise, surprise. And I am doing the skin 1/1, so it is a bit challenging, but I think it looks fantastic. So maybe this month I will move up and try and get her face in there. So I don't really like enjoy doing the 1/1 skin. But I really like the way it looks, so it's kind of a trade-off. But I'm really liking this project and how it's looking, so I am pleased with the Joan Elliott's. I have a couple more in my stash to work on when this one gets more towards done. Oops. I thought I would work on the mini solar system this month, which is a full coverage. I kind of like the way my themes have been going, and I think that, of course, you know, plans change at the drop of a hat with me, but I think next year I'm going to keep the same themes, and I'm going to actually keep, like, I know people who have done, like, Mania in the past, they talk about this Blimey Cat method. I don't know the history behind that. I just know that people who've done that and have explained it are like that they're using the same projects that they used the year before. And then if something's finished, then they'll replace it. I kind of think that I'm going to do sort of that thing. I'm going to look at what projects were in my monthly themes this year, and if they're still a whip, put them back in, and then, you know, I can add in new stuff as we go along. So anyway, this is my start on the mini solar system. I'm doing this for Hudson, my nephew, who really loves space, etc. And he is 8. Gonna be 9 in October, so he's like 8.5. I figured that he might get this for his 18th birthday. If I get really, you know, ambitious and fast with it, maybe he could get it for a bar mitzvah or something. But you know, I figure 18th birthday is, you know, a good goal. And then, let's see. Starburst and Stripes You Saw, Chatelaine, Twisted Rainbow, Mini Solar System, Sweet Pea Fairy, Forget Me Nots, Be My Valentine, the Peacock, which I started. And then the last one that I thought I would pull out is my Orange Mood, which is a Bring Out the Blackworksal, is the hashtag of it. This is also Riolis, and this is Blackwork, so it's a little bit different. Yeah. So I haven't worked on this one in a while, so I thought it would be fun to bring this one out. And that is where I am. Is that the right side? I am not sure. Which way's up on this? Hold on. Like this. Okay. Is that how I was holding it before? I don't think so. I could have taken a clue from the needle minder. Okay, so yeah, that is it. Those are my projects that I'm planning on working on this month. Sometimes, like last month I had Kitty Magic on my list and I never worked on it. So, you know, sometimes that happens. I'm very, kind of do what I want when I want kind of thing, you know, within my themes. However, if I got a wild idea that I wanted to stitch on something that is not on any list, I'll do it. So, you know, as far as that goes, I'm not a strict adherer to my rule. But I do like doing the themes because I think without it, I would feel overwhelmed with how many projects I have. I'm in a comfortable like 30-ish place, like mid-30s. And then just like the couple years that have passed, I kind of have a big push at the end of the year and I get things down below 30. And, you know, and then I want to start a bunch of stuff. So I don't know if that's going to happen exactly that way next year. Who knows? But it is working. It is working for me, I think. Anyway, so that is what I have. It's 9:15. I'm going to have to call my maintenance department again and see if they are coming out today. I don't even know if the office is open on Sunday, so I'm hoping this is not something that drags out, but because I bet they'd be here for like 10 minutes and get it fixed. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. I didn't even talk about the weather. We're still like really stuck in June gloom. It's all gray, but it feels kind of muggy. It's not that hot yet. It's like it's still low 70s, mid 70s, but it's muggy and just kind of, you know, weather seems like it's weird all over the country. People who aren't expecting hot weather yet are having super hot weather. Places where it is usually hot, it's cool. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this world. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. And until I see you again, please be content, be kind, and be crafty. There I go, screwing up my end line tag right there at the end of the video. But anyway, I hope you have a great week, you guys. Bye-bye.